Hi, Susan Modest here, and today I'm going to be talking with you about recruiting strategies or having people join your business if you're in perhaps a network marketing company or some kind of company that's multi-level where you have to build a team or would like to build a team in your businesses, which is very common. And, if you are part of that, there's forever been a stigma associated with that, but I would encourage you to ignore the naysayers as long as you know that what you're doing is legal. Okay. There are such things as Ponzi schemes, and Ponzi schemes means that there's no real money being exchanged on the product. What's the money that's being rotated or the money from people joining. So assuming that you've done your due diligence on that and that you're sure that there is a service or product being offered in your business that justifies the money, the commissions that are being paid out, then you should be very proud of what you're doing and ignore the stigma and just understand that, whenever you break off of the beaten path, you're going to experience resistance from people who have chosen to remain on that path. Okay. To each their own. But if you've chosen that path, then kudos to you for trying to make a better life and to try to make a way that is honest, okay, with all of those factors considered. So now you're in a company like that and you need to start recruiting. So the first thing that you may have heard from your upline is to make this list of friends and family, this hundreds list. And the people who encourage you to do that may be very successful. So I'm not here to knock that in any way. I have just found in my personal life that that wasn't always too effective. Now, if you've been in the business for a while and your network includes people who are already business minded, who you don't have to convince, if you developed your network because of previous network marketing or direct marketing companies that you've been part of. And so you have this group of people as a leader who will follow you or who will take your advice on things, then that's different. Your hundreds list is going to look different than the beginner whose hundreds lists are going to be their mom, their dad, their uncles, their sisters, the people they work with at their jobs, neighbors, people within 3 feet of them in the mall, that kind of thing. That's completely different. So if you have 100 people who are already business minded, then you have a pretty good hundreds list. Okay, so that may be an effective strategy. Then you can just get in contact with them, tell them what you're doing, tell them how excited you are about it. Get the presentation in front of them, let the presentation do its work, right? That's the part that you've always heard from your leaders and upline, and it makes sense, okay, because that's duplicatable. But assuming you don't have that type of hundreds list and you need to develop some other strategies for recruiting, I did a video that talked about how you can use social media and how you can develop a different hundreds list where you're actually making friends with people who would be business minded and how to go about doing that. So I'll probably put the link for that video in this video or in the description box so as not to review all of that again. But there are certain things that you want to do if you're using social media. You want to make sure that you are mixing up your type of post, but you have to let people know that you're in business. You're never going to spam. So you're never going to just put a picture of your product and say all the wonderful things it does and then just tell people, to just buy it, right? You're not going to do that because it doesn't work. They gloss over it. You're never going to send them a link with no discussion to their inbox. You're never going to do that because they will ignore that as well and they will get irritated. Okay, so you don't want to do that. You don't want to start getting, because people remember how you make them feel more than what you say or do, right? You've heard that saying, Maya Angelou. You want to keep that in mind in marketing as well. You want to think about how you're making people feel. Okay. So if you spam them, you're making them feel irritated. And so that when they see anything that you have to say, any of your posts, your offers, even if they're great, they already feel irritated. And so you're not going to want to do that. So what do you want to do? You want to make sure that you are mixing the content of your post. Not everything is going to be business minded, but you are going to let people know that you are in business. Why? Because it's just like anything else that you'd be doing. If you have an event going on, like somebody's graduating in your family, you're graduating, you're getting married, somebody else is getting married. Those are things that are important to you going on in your life. You're likely to post about that. So if you're doing the same thing with your business, it just makes sense. Now, as when you do make your business post, it's okay for you to invite other people to communicate with you and to ask for more information. Okay, you're just not going to spew it on them. That's the difference. You're going to give them a choice where they can come to you. So in those posts, you want to make sure that you create some kind of curiosity. You want to make sure that you say something that makes them want to ask you more about it. Okay. So how can you structure your posts? You can think in terms of answering certain questions. What? So what? And now what? Okay. That's actually a communication strategy that you can use whenever you're just even giving presentations or having conversations with people that are meant to move them to any kind of action. So that's what, so what, now what. So in your post, you're going to give some kind of value. So, and I'm talking about your business posts now, or the ones that are related to your business. You're going to give some kind of value, whether it's telling them a little bit about, let's first say, for example, you are in a health supplement company, or even beauty. You're going to say something about a problem, and then the problem becomes the what. And then the so what is the implications of that. So like, how does that make you feel? How does it affect a person when that problem exists? That's the so what. And then now what? Okay, so with the now what, now you have the ability to say and position your product as a possible solution. And so you will make what's called a call to action. You will tell people that if they want to know more about how to whatever, solve that problem in whatever way that you wrote it, what they should do next. That's their call to action. So they should message you. They should comment below. They should, sometimes you want to say like a word, like, comment info for more information. And then you just contact those people, just those people who said that they wanted more information, whether they've messaged you and said, yeah, I'm curious about that. I like, what is that? That's a door. Okay, don't bust through the door, but it's an open door for you to start having a conversation. Okay, it's conversation. And if they comment info, then you can send it to their inbox, again, a conversation, start a conversation with them. And you get to then talk about your business. And hopefully it just makes sense at that point for you to introduce them or go through what you would have been taught to get your presentation, your business presentation in front of them. Okay. And then you let the presentation do the work for you. So your job is to pique curiosity and then to get with those people, give them the presentation, and then follow up with them. Okay. So that's how you're going to use your posts. And it's not every post that you're going to do that. Some of the posts you're going to put in there, you're going to just give people a little bit more of a glimpse into you. If you're funny, well, hopefully everybody kind of uses humor, but let them know something about you. Like if you enjoy things, what you enjoy, what's funny to you, what hurts you, what makes you feel emotional in any way. Let them connect with you as a person, because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. I've said that in tons of videos, and I know I'm not the first person that you've ever heard say that, but let that sink in. They have to know, like, and trust you. So if they are not listening to you, one of those things, they don't know, like, or trust you enough yet. But you're no longer, as of this day, going to bang down doors, right? So you're going to take the time to develop the relationship that helps them know, like, and trust you. And you're going to pique curiosity, and then you're going to just let the normal course of events take place. What would be a normal conversation, and if it leads to the presentation, getting in front of them, and it leads to then that follow-up, you follow up with anybody you've given a presentation to. And then if it's right for them, if it's a good fit, then they go to the next step with you, okay? Remember, you are in the sorting business, not the convincing business. I know this is not the first time you've heard that if you're in business, and it's very, very true. Don't bang your head against a wall trying to convince people why they should be in business, why they should have a secondary income even if they love their job, why it makes sense to be a freelancer or to be a little bit more in control of your finances. You don't want to have to convince them of all of that. You may write posts about that because you just, it helps people to think, because sometimes people are just so busy doing their normal everyday life. Oh, can see the guns. They're so busy in their normal everyday life that even though that is something that they want to pursue or to, go down that road at some point, it just sometimes takes reminding them, getting them back to that. So some of your posts can talk about that, talk about the freedom that they can get if they were to have some kind of business on the side or in addition to what they're doing, or even to replace what they're doing. They'll know what it connects to inside of them, but so hopefully that was helpful. The other way, of course, to recruit people into your business is through traffic, right? You've heard me talk about that before, if you've watched any of my videos. So what I just explained to you was a warm market social media strategy. The other is through online marketing and capture pages and traffic. So I would recommend that you have a combination of both. And so below this video, I am going to put an example of one of my businesses, along with the capture page and everything that you will see there. And then I've also made other videos about how to run traffic to those things. And then those are a little bit colder, but you get a chance through email to get to know them and for them to get to know, like, and trust you. So those are two ways. So use your social media strategies, your warm market strategies, and then use email marketing, combine them. You should have leads all the time to talk to possibly recruit into your business or partner up with. I prefer the term partnering. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know in the comments. I'm also going to put a link for my Facebook group that I started below this video in the description box, so you can connect with me there and get more tips. Okay, so have a great day and thank you for watching.